we live?
We haven't done this in a while, so I sure hope we are.
Are we even live?
I believe we are. For the first time in like two and a half months, we're going to have to get the old audio video check. How about that? I haven't done that in a long time. And we can see how delayed we are. We are huge up in front of us here.
Oh, whoa. I just realized that.
Yeah, that is, that's pretty big. That's what she said. But
Sorry, everybody. I'm married to a child.
Believe what your eyes are telling you. Yes, we are live. It's been a long time since we've done a live stream. And I think there's a good reason why we're back. We missed it.
I know, I missed it. It's just not the same doing podcast. I mean, I enjoy the podcast and everything, but I kind of like it being right here, right now, too. So
the thing is, we had a lot of people. Let's see. All good, John. Thank you, Basic Steel Bob. All is good. Spoiled Sushi. There's a lot of people saying audio video is good. Thank you. We had a lot of people come up to us at Aquashella in Daytona, which we were at last weekend. And they all said, I sure do miss the stream.
yeah.
And, you know, that when you hear that 50 times, then you're like, okay, at some point you have to concede and you have to say, it's time. But here's the thing. We have a new way we're going to be doing things. We're going to be doing things very differently. Well, no, not really, but kind of differently from what we were doing in the past. And we're going to talk about that before we get into the interview with Jeff Miyaki, which I'm very excited to share with you. It's just going to be me and Jeff because she wasn't even in the same state as me at the time.
We can talk about all that later.
Yeah, but I want to say, you know, we're back live streaming here, which means there are going to be those crazy people that send us super chats. We are so thankful to those people. We don't ask anybody to do that. They just do it because people are beautiful, and especially people in this community. If there are super chats that come through and new channel members, things like that, we absolutely will address you. It may seem like as we're going through this live stream, we're ignoring you. We're not, I promise. But we have a very, I don't want to say strict, but we have a plan of how we're going to do this, which I'm going to explain right now. And then you'll understand we will get to the super chats later on in the show. We will not ignore you. I promise you that.
I won't let him do that.
Yeah, well, no.
Well, I won't let myself do that.
Yeah, you won't even have to not let me do that because I've never missed one. Well, I mean, we may have missed them at the very end before, but I've never neglected intentionally to not highlight a super chat and address whatever questions they have or comments they have or whatever. So I promise that will happen. But here's the deal. We've decided to combine the podcast and live stream. So like for today, my intention was to film a intro and an outro and then just play the interview with Jeff Miyaki, one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Sorry, Jeff, but she trumps you. But, you know, Jeff is up there high on that list. And I was just going to play that like we've done for the last couple of months, just playing the live stream. And when all of the people came up and said, oh, you know, we really missed the live stream, I said, well, here's what we can do. We can go live, talk with y'all, say, hey, what's up? Update you on what's going on with us and things that we're doing. And then I can just play the interviews, because we have 4 of them. Right. Not that we're all going to play all 4 of them today. We'd be here all night. But for these next 4 weeks, what we'll do is exactly what I said. We'll come on here. We'll tell you what's going on. We'll, have some fun, and then we will play the interviews that I did down at Aquashella. We've got Jeff Miyaki today, and then I did one with George Mavrakis, who is Coralfish 12G. Jason from Primetime Aquatics. That was a lot of fun. We just basically turned the camera on and said, let's see what happens.
That's
and it was
like
a good time.
having a conversation with your friend.
Right. It was a good
on
time.
video.
Yeah. And then we had Will Nace, which was a blast. Folks, that guy owns a zoo. Come on.
Yeah.
He's a blast to talk to. I adore that guy and his whole family. Got to meet his, well, he's not a new son anymore. He's gonna.
One
he
now.
just turned 1, but
Time flies.
we got to meet a little Wilder, and of course we've known. I'm on the spot now. Coral. Gosh.
Coral.
When you're on the spot in front of 43,000 people, it's hard to remember names. But
Right.
anyway, I had a good time talking with him. So for the next 4 weeks, that's what we're going to do is we'll talk with you. We'll have a good time. We'll play the interview. And then after the interview, we'll come back. We will address the chat. We'll handle all of the super chats and things like that
And
that
we'll
come
still
through.
be in the comment section too. We'll still be in
Yep.
there chatting with you in the comment section.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. Because when we're playing this with you, I'm not going to play the interview and have us in the, little picture in a picture down in the corner and we're stopping it to moderate it or narrate it. No, we're just going to let it play through. Our microphones will be muted and we will go straight to the chat and speak with you. So then if you are a listener of the podcast, what I'm going to end up doing is recording that intro and outro just to the interview. And that's what's going to upload in audio form for the podcast. So all of this stuff that we're saying right now and all of the, the conversation that we have, that's not going to be a part of the podcast. When we're done with these 4 interviews, it's going to be kind of a similar thing, but we're not going to be playing a recorded show. It's going to be more, we're going to have a topic that we're going to discuss. We're going to do it in kind of a formatted way and not be able to address the chat during that part of it. But then at the end, we will address all of the not just super chats. You don't have to pay to play here, but obviously super chats are going to get preferential treatment because I have to do it that way. I'm sorry. You want me to lie to you about it? No, it has to be done that way. And then, we'll address non-super chats too. We're not gonna neglect all of that. So one of the things that I did want to announce, I don't know if it's going to apply tonight. The interview with Jeff is about 45 minutes. I'm not going to worry about the clock.
Too stressful. No one needs that.
We made that decision. The only other people that I know of that stream on Thursdays is Chattanooga Ed, and he does, what does he call it? Craft Ed? Like he does his crafts thing. And he does his show. It starts at 9. We're never done by 9. We usually cut things off at 9:30. But you know what? If we're having a good time and we're talking with y'all and we're enjoying ourselves and it goes till 10:30, so be it. It's all going to depend on how the show goes and how worn out my voice gets.
Yeah.
Because you just sit there and look beautiful. I have to do all the talking, and
I interrupt sometimes.
Then people get mad at me because I talk all the time.
No, I definitely interrupt sometimes.
She does. I encourage her to do that. I might act like I get mad at her for that, but no, I certainly don't, because I need to shut my mouth sometimes. So what's been going on with us? What has been going on with us has been documented on video. You've seen what we've had going on. The biggest thing, of course, is the pond. And then second, and I only put it second because it's still not done, is her new tank. Well, the cat rescue too.
Oh.
But her new tank, which she dropped a bomb on me. Was that today or last night?
It was today, and the only person that knows is Zen.
Zen, you got to understand.
She's super excited about it.
If it gets back to us, we're coming for you because you're the only one that
No,
knows.
it's not that big of a deal.
When originally the tank was supposed to have these fish in it, she changed her mind and went to these fish, and I was like, woohoo! And then she just changed her mind today again.
Because you know what? It makes sense. It
does make sense.
I can't even talk about it or else I'll spoil it. But the scaping of the tank is taking a long time because silicone, for one, is involved. And I have to be very cautious about placing certain things with silicone and having it dry. And I've been taking a lot of breaks in between. So the thing is, this is going to be a scape that will never, ever be able to be changed. And I want to do it right. And I want it to be perfect. I want it to be beautiful. And as of right now, I am 100% happy with it. But there's a little bit more to do. And the awesomest thing about it is that what I decided to change as far as fish-wise goes, it's not going to interfere with how I've already done the scape. So that's exciting. I'm so excited.
Yeah, did we not have notifications go out today? It says there's only 100 people watching, which is that's unusual. I'm okay with that because those are 100 wonderful people, but that seems off. I'm not gonna freak out about it, but that just doesn't seem like that is the norm. But you know, we're going back to live again, which means we may have the signal interfere, and if it does, then
I've had a lot of circles on my phone, so
yeah, and there's one there. So you know, if we are pausing, don't worry, we'll be right back. I promise. Don't worry. But yeah, her tank's coming along really well. I'm excited about it. It looks really, really cool. And the fish that you put in,
you can't say.
They're going to shock a lot of people. A lot of
so.
people are going to be surprised, and I can't wait to see the reaction. So, other than that stuff, she has been rescuing a lot of cats. We have a house full of cats right now.
No, they're not a house full. I have a laundry room.
A laundry room full.
That I have kennels in, and I have a cat house in the yard, and there are others that of course I can't catch, but I will be getting those because I have cages now to trap them thanks to Kevin Ollery and Whips World. I'll be catching those in Spain and neuter them. Most likely it's just going to be TNR, but I'm not going to get into all that on a fish channel. If you guys want to hear about cats and my cat rescue, you can go to Roots and Whiskers and watch my latest video.
Some people didn't get notifications and some people did. Yeah, I mean, YouTube's probably like, hey, we're not taking y'all seriously. We're not going to send out notifications. Y'all haven't been live in 3 months. So,
Yeah.
you know, hey, we deserve that kind of punishment. But you know what? We'll be back next week. And, you know, hopefully more people get the word and we'll have more people here. I don't care how many people are watching, but, you know, the more the merrier. Particularly when we have a heavy hitter like we do in the interview today. But before we get into that, we do have to talk about last weekend because it was a doozy one. A week ago today, I was at this time just pulling in to Daytona Beach. I drove because I'm stupid. She flew down the next day. It's a long story why we went down there separated. We don't need to. Cats, basically.
And business.
And she didn't decide that she wanted to go until the last minute. And, you know, it is what it is. So I drove down there on Thursday, and then she flew down Friday night. I was able to get all of my interviews done on Friday, which was awesome. You weren't even there yet. Yeah. And then the show was Saturday and Sunday, and it was a blast, just like it always is. We got to meet so many people. Jennifer Anderson was there. She's a hoot.
She was so much fun. Oh my gosh, she was so much fun. Oh, and I forgot JoJo, my bee that she brought. She brought me the cutest bee.
Well, you can go grab it when we're playing.
Yeah, and I'll show you after we're done. But yeah, I had so much fun meeting her. She was One of my favorite people ever to meet. She's so funny too. I love her.
Yeah, she was awesome. I didn't get to talk to her as much as you did, but she was...
she's a hoot.
She's a treat.
I liked her a lot.
She's a blast. And we also got to finally meet the owners, Darius and Asta. I'm not going to say their last name because I would completely botch it.
Yeah.
The owners of Northfin USA.
That was awesome. They are so nice. Such sweet people.
They're an amazing couple. They have an amazing son. He's like a big bodybuilder, and he just stands there with all his muscles.
And he's so respectful.
That was really, really cool. And let me tell you something. I'm going to make a bold statement here about Darius, the owner of Northfin, with his wife. He's not sole owner. I've never known anyone that is more obsessed with fish food. It's wild. Yeah. Like, that man lives, breathes, and eats fish food. And it's so cool. I mean, it shows in his product, but he is so obsessed with doing the right thing with fish food. It's really, really cool. And I knew that within 10 minutes of meeting him. We spent a lot of time with them over the weekend. Wish it could have been more, but it was, the time we had with them was awesome. And for the next 2 weeks, you will see them in the videos that we upload on Sundays.
Oh, yeah. These are fun videos. So fun. I had a blast.
I can't spoil the surprise of what those videos are.
Don't worry. It's me.
But it's a concept that I did not invent. It's not the change my mind stuff. We'll talk about that. I did not invent this concept. And there was someone else doing this while we were there too. But
afterwards, but it doesn't matter.
I called it first.
I know.
But yeah, it was an absolute blast. And I got to tell you, I've had so much fun editing those videos. It's just a blast watching it. So,
and the people were awesome.
They were.
I loved doing it.
Darius and Asta are in both of those. So you'll get to see them. They're wearing all blue, and she's wearing a cool blue hat, fancy hat kind of thing that actually has the Northfin logo wrapped around it. Really cool. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You'll get to see some YouTubers in the videos. You'll get to see some the owner of Magfloat is in the video, and he's like 7 feet tall. And I'm not just saying that.
Oh,
he really is.
I remember him because I was like...
In fact, when you walked up to him, you said, well...
Oh, yeah. I said, I have to ask you an important question. And he said,
what's my height?
I said, no. But that was funny.
Will Nace is 6'9". Will Nace is a giant, and that guy is easily that much taller than him. So, yeah, he's a 7-footer. But, yeah, the owner of Magfloat, the owners of Northfin, a couple of YouTubers, and mostly just ticket holders that were attendees at the show, which made it really, really cool. A couple of youngsters are in there.
They're so cute.
It's a blast, and I think you're really going to enjoy those videos. I can't wait to see the feedback. I might actually look at the comment section of that one because I can't imagine anybody being mad at me, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah, not you. It would be me, but I didn't do anything.
No, I mean, it's a good time. And I got to tell you, if I move my head the right way, there's actually hints of what that video is.
Oh, don't do that.
But I have to move my head the right way.
Oh,
and when you watch the video on Sunday, which I hope you do, then you'll be like, oh, I get it. I know what he was talking about now. So anyway, that's going to be a great time. I can't wait to share that with you. And that's that. I don't think, the change my mind stuff. So you can't see them because they're right there, but Aquashella had those banners made up for me, and I was so excited because they turned out perfect, and I could not wait to do it. And it's one of those things, the mistake that I made with those change my mind videos, I didn't schedule it. I basically said, we're going to do it when we do it. And when there's a free block of time, that's when we're going to go and do it. Well, when you're at Aquashella, there's no such thing as a free block of time.
Especially with something new that's going on.
Yeah, Oh yeah, and we got to get into that. Yeah, it was a hectic and chaotic 2 days, and we get to like 3:00 on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even done those videos. So I'm toying around with the idea of doing the Change My Mind live. And the idea would be to bring people on. I don't think I'm going to do other YouTubers unless that's all we can get. But having people sign up in advance.
It should be the members because they deserve that perk.
Certainly. I mean, we can open it up to members first. I'm happy with that. But it would be, you have to be able to come on to the live stream with us and be on here, not sitting in the room with us, but remotely. We'll bring you up. You have to be willing to be on video and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have the conversation, and you can change my mind about the 2 different topics. Big box pet stores, PetSmart and Petco more specifically, are great for the hobby. Change my mind. And the other is saltwater aquariums suck. Change my mind. Now, of course, I don't believe that, but I'll be playing the other side of that in that video. And that one might be tough because saltwater channels don't watch this channel. And that makes sense because why would they? They're into saltwater stuff. But if we can get some people to do that, then I think it'd be fun to do it right here live. No editing, no chance to, take out mistakes or arguments or name calling. I think it'll be a lot of fun. If I'm going to do that, I will announce it way in advance. We can get people to, sign up somehow. I don't know how we would do that. And it will be a lot of fun to do. So we'll see what happens with that. So last thing, we finally got it. What? We got these little guys.
Oh yeah, so cute.
This is a new product from Northfin. Very excited about it. Basically what this is, to wrap it up in a nutshell without doing a long commercial for this product, this is Bug Bites not Bug Bites, but Bug Pro, because Northfin calls their black soldier fly larva product Bug Pro, not Bug Bites, because that's fluval. So this is Bug Pro in nano form.
Right.
That's the easiest way to explain what this is. 0.5 millimeter pellets. So very close to being a powder. It's not as small as the Fry Starter, but it is very, very, very small. So there you go. Excited about that. Finally got them in, along with all of the other Northfin stuff. We got a new connection now to a new ability to get it easier rather than having to wait for months and months. And excited about that because we'll probably not be out of stock of Northfin nearly as much as we have been lately.
Right.
Last thing to talk about, and this is a big one. Another one here. You can see over my shoulder, this hat right here. It's Fish Stream. It sounded like I just said Fish Dream. I didn't. I said Fish Stream. This is a very cool new app that launched this weekend at Aquachella. We, and they very, very specifically wanted us, not just me. We were fortunate enough to be asked to be a part of this app, not owners or anything like that, but in the very early stages of this app, we were asked if we wanted to participate in it, and I said, yeah, because this is it's an app that's gonna. It's in its infancy stages. Okay, so if you download this app right now, it's there. There's plenty of stuff on it, but this is brand spanking new. All of the things that will be on it are coming. They're not on there as of yet. But what it's going to be is a lot of things. But it's basically going to be a community for fish keepers only. You're not going to be flooded with a bunch of advertisements and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to be hunted by trolls. It's going to be a very nice, very heavily moderated community to go in there and be educated about fish keeping. One of the things that is definitely true about YouTube, and I love YouTube, it's my job, but
this is what it looks like as of right now, because it's so new, but
it's hard to see it. Yeah,
it's really cool, and you get to like meet other people on it and everything too. It's fun. There's a lot of interaction already.
Yeah. What it's going to have, which it doesn't have now, is courses that's what we were asked to be a part of, is creating courses that are obviously specifically fish keeping. Take a wild guess at the courses she'll be doing. That it's going to serve new fish keepers. I don't know if it's going to serve advanced fish keepers, people that have their thumbs up their butts. I don't know if the courses are really going to serve them. Maybe someday they will, but in the beginning, the idea is new fish keepers. If you go to YouTube to get your information, it's a great place for information. However, it can be kind of overwhelming. You go on YouTube and you type in how to start an aquarium, you get 675,000 results. You don't know what to watch, what's good, who's smart, who's not. You know, you might get bad information. Who knows? You never really know what you're getting. I love that because that's how we make our living. But at the same time, it is a little bit risky and it's a little bit overwhelming. This is not going to be, there's not going to be, if you had to start a brand new aquarium, you're not going to get 750 results. You're going to get one or two. And that's what is awesome about it. And the courses will be available. I'm not 100% certain when those are going to be made. We haven't made ours yet. We're not even, I don't think, locked down as to what courses we're going to be doing. But
oh, and the plus is, I am going to butt in and say this.
Do it.
It's 100% kid friendly because it's monitored to be for everyone. It's monitored to be for beginners and people to come in and feel safe, I guess is the best word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, parents don't have to worry about, you know, their kids going on YouTube and finding something they shouldn't watch. So that's a plus.
Absolutely is. I mean, you know, your young kid gets involved in wants an aquarium and they go to YouTube, and parents might be nervous. There's probably not a lot of content about aquariums on the YouTube Kids app. Probably not. There could be, but I don't know.
Well, I'm not calling this a kids app, but
No.
it's going to be
But it'll
monitored.
be perfectly acceptable for
Yeah.
kids. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. The owners, we actually met them in Dallas.
Right.
And Fishroom hadn't even been thought of yet then. But they came up with that idea. They brought on a team of amazing people, including our good friend Sean Hale from Fritz and Aquachella. And he's everywhere, Sean Hale. He's a madman. But he is heavily involved in Fishroom. It's going to be an amazing thing. It's brand spanking new. You know, if you get on it now, it's completely free to download. Get on it now, Fishroom. I wish I had a more clear logo to show you.
It's
While the interview's playing, I'll grab that hat and I'll be able to show you because it's only a mobile app right now, so I can't put a link to it because that just wouldn't work. But it's going to be very, very cool. And if you get it now, you're going to be one day. I mean, imagine being one of the people that says, yeah, I was one of the first ones that got a YouTube account. Yeah, that would be pretty cool right now. People would be like, yeah, so what? But still, it'd be fun for you to be able to say that. So highly recommend checking it out. It's going to be a blast. And you can go on there right now and see a whole bunch of stuff that went down at Aquachella because the YouTube booth at Aquachella is now the Fishroom lounge. And I never realized it until now. When I say Fishroom, it sounds like I'm saying Fish Dream, and that's a problem. but I can't be like fish stream. Like that just doesn't make sense.
I
But
can say it, fish stream. I don't think about dreams.
I don't know. For some reason, when I say it, it sounds like I'm saying fish stream. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, enough of that. I actually predicted about 30 minutes and we'll start playing the interview. So hit that one right on the head, didn't I? So I have this interview with Jeff Miyaki. I'm going to play that. This was filmed at Aquashella. I originally said I was going to do these interviews in my hotel room, not realizing that the hotel was like a half a mile away.
Yeah.
And so, you get George Mavrakis. He's one of the owners of Aquashella. He's running around on Friday like a chicken with his head cut off. Jeff Miyaki had 2 tanks to scape. He was competing in the aquascaping contest. He was all over the place. To ask these people to go all the way to my hotel room, it would have been too much to ask. So we actually set up in the Fishroom Media Lounge. They have a couple of nice couches there. We set up there, and just be warned, because the way I was sitting made me look like a great big giant fat guy. I don't know why. I feel kind of embarrassed because I'm kind of leaning back, and it just made me look absolutely horrible. I'm very self-conscious.
Oh my gosh.
So
get over
there you go.
it.
I'm embarrassed, but really excited to share this interview with you. Jeff is one of my absolute favorite aquascapers. He is my favorite aquascaper and one of my favorite people. He's an amazing human being, and I can't wait to share with you my interview with him. So sit back, relax, and learn yourself a thing or two about aquascaping. And when it's done, we'll be back to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about.
And hopefully we have a little bit more information to give you as far as links and stuff for fish stream, not dream.
See, now you're conscious about the way you're saying it. All right, here is my interview with Jeff Miyaki. At least. So we are not live, but we are recording here at Aquashella in the Fish Stream booth. Very excited to bring in my friend Jeff Miyaki. I had to verify with him that's the appropriate way to say the name, because I hate mispronouncing people's names. I have made it very clear to anybody that will listen to me that you are my favorite aquascaper on the planet. You are responsible, and I'm going to try while we're doing this to put footage of this tank over. You're responsible for the best aquascape I've ever seen in my life.
That's high praise.
The one in Dallas, I sat there, it was Dallas, right? Yeah, with the arch, the Dragonstone arch.
That was Dallas this year.
It's the most impressive aquascape I've ever seen.
Really?
So that makes me, that has made you my favorite aquascaper, along with your other work. I've seen your other stuff too. Of course I have. I've seen what you're working on for here, which is a masterpiece. So I had to bring you on here to introduce you to the YouTube world. We talked about it. You're well known on Instagram, 50,000 almost followers on Instagram. YouTube,
Not so much.
You don't even have a channel, right?
I do have a channel.
Oh, do you?
Oh, that's hurtful. I have like 620, 630, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Just getting going.
Well, good. Then maybe this will help to start it. I will put a link to Jeff's channel in the description. I want to talk to you, obviously, about aquascaping. I know that's hard to believe, but how does somebody, aquascaping is your life. How did it get there?
It is all-consuming these days. I've been doing it for 14 years, I think. Yeah, so I got started in aquariums 45 years ago. Only the last 14 or so have been aquascaping, seriously aquascaping. And, I did it as a outlet because I worked out of a home office and my job was stressful and it was long hours. We're talking lots of double shifts, 16-hour days. It was rough and I needed to take those breaks, and I found aquascaping really helped me get through those long days. And we're not talking about, a week or a month or a year of this. I'm talking about like 15 years
Wow.
of 16-hour days.
Good grief.
Yeah, so aquascaping really got me through that, and I just found a real passion because it's really easy to begin as an aquascaper. Anyone can put some substrate in there and some stones and some wood.
And maybe get lucky from time to time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you get better as you do more of it, like anything in life. So I totally forgot where I was going now. But, oh, yeah, it's easy to begin. Yeah, that happens a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Easy to begin, hard to master. So I like the complexity of it and always pushing myself. Like, I get asked all the time, we got the rumbling behind us, but I get asked all the time, how long does your aquascape stay up for? And for the majority of those 14, 15 years, I only had one aquarium. So if I wanted to make another aquascape, the previous aquascape had to come down. And so I would perfect this aquascape, take my photos, my videos, and tear it all down.
Wow.
And I would show people the tank, and they're like, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. How can you tear down this? It's just a masterpiece. And I'm like, because the next one will be better. Yeah.
How am I supposed to get better if I'm just going to sit here and look at this? I got to do another one.
Yeah, and then their comment back to me always is something like, you must be dead inside.
I mean, some of your scapes, all of them, are absolutely incredible. I can't even imagine taking them down. I can't imagine putting them up, which is, I asked you this earlier. I'm sure you can answer it without even any thought. I'm not an artistic person at all. Were you autistic? Were you artistic?
Yeah.
And then when you got into this, were you already artistic? And then on top of that, how does the vision come into your head of these arches and using the little things as pumpkins and stuff? How does that happen?
So first of all, we're all aquascapers. We're all artists.
Okay.
I don't care how good of an artist you are, but we are all artists in one way or another, right? So that's the first message that I preach when I get on stage during my videos and all this. We all have this ability in us. And it's a matter of, if you are interested in it, finding someone to mentor or teach or, watch others or somehow start to figure out how this is done. If you wanted to draw or paint, let's say if you wanted to paint, where would you start painting? It's the same thing with aquascape. You start with the basics, right? You start drawing shapes, you start working with colors. So aquascaping is very similar to any other art form. Yeah, so you're an aquascaper, I'm an aquascaper.
I am literally a guy that just piles up rocks.
Do you have any intent?
Well, I mean, I've done my share of scapes that I was pleased with, but they're so simple it's hard to even classify them as aquascapes. Wow. I have one where I just did the entire back wall of big round river stones. It's my favorite tank I've ever done. You would look at it and say, well, it's a beautiful tank, but it's just a stack of rocks. And I'm like, I know, but that's what I love.
Well, there's a lot more to aquascaping than worrying about the hardscape too.
Yeah.
So in the end, when I take these final photos, I send them off to contests, and I do that a lot. And I have a huge list of winning rankings, and that's well and good that other people are enjoying my work. It's validating, but the ultimate judge for our aquascapes are the fish and our critters. They're the ultimate. That's their home. We're just visiting. We're the custodians.
It's true.
It's the fish. I wish. So you've seen photos of my work and maybe a little bit of video, but you haven't experienced those aquascapes. I always tell people, yeah, the photos, it's good. The photo's good. but it's rubbish compared to seeing this in real life. I wish you could come to my house and look at this, because you'll be blown away.
That is so true. The tank I saw in Dallas with all the Dragonstone, which I'm a huge Dragonstone fan, so that helped. But I saw that tank in person first. And then I saw the photos and I'm like, oh no, that's just not, that's not the same. That tank, it's a different experience seeing it with your own eyes.
And it's so hard too, because one of these works that I create here, like that one, I prepared a bit. So I prepared the arch, which when I got here, I shipped it 800 miles FedEx.
Wow.
So you saw how fragile that was.
Oh, yeah.
So when it arrived, it was in about 20 pieces.
Ooh.
So it didn't look anywhere near as good as when it was in my house. It was spectacular. There was so much more detail to it. It lost at least 50% of the details.
Wow.
As well as just the other rocks and that shaping around it. I had time at home. When I get here, I'm scrambling. I got 6 to 8 hours to put it all back together, with water, fish, everything. It's not enough time.
Right.
So it's a rush job. So I'm glad, and people, every show is the same way. People come by and they're just oohing and ahhing over these tanks, and that's why I do this. The mission is to inspire, educate, and have some fun, because otherwise, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah, you asked me, what did you say? Did I have a theme or an intent? You asked if I had an intent with that tank. And then you mentioned it's not only the hardscape, but it also the plants and the fish and everything else. Well, this particular tank was for African cichlids and bunas. So there's no plants, like that's not even a thing.
Of course not, yeah.
So it was really just to give them somewhere to where they can hide and they can do their thing. And they're breeding like crazy in there now, so it worked out well. But,
so
did I have an intent? I absolutely did. I knew exactly what I was going for. But it's so simple, but at the same time, I'm so proud of it. I can only imagine what it's like putting together the masterpieces that you do. And to have... I get comments on that video that I did about that tank, and I'm thrilled. Like, I can't imagine having people, and you get it all the time, coming up to you, and, oh, this is so amazing.
I do. I do get a lot of validation, and I enjoy it, but it doesn't drive me. The contests don't drive me. It goes back to my roots and what that aquarium represented in my life, getting me through tough day after tough day after tough day. I mean, it was...
That's incredible.
Yeah, so to me, it's about this peacefulness and just, working with the flow of the piece and just enjoying it and watching the plants grow in and trimming them and trying different things. And yeah, it's a feeling, it's a piece of me, right? So it's kind of part of my soul at this point.
So when you're going to start your next project, whether it be for a show like this or just your personal tank at home, what is the first decision that gets made? Is it the fish?
I'd like to say it is, but often the fish, I've figured out what is going to be the size and kind of the characteristic of the habitat that they would like. So I'll have a short list of fish. And then it's a matter of hunting those down and getting prize specimens. So, for example, one of the tanks I did for, I think it was a couple years ago for one of the contests, I really wanted to do gouramis, pearl gouramis. I haven't done them in so long. And I knew kind of what they, the kind of the habitat that they want to feel comfortable in. And I built around that fish. A lot of times when I'm doing this, I like to have small fish in a big tank. It's more peaceful. It's relaxing. You can swim from there to there. And that's the other thing. I don't make my schools too big. Because if you have a big school of fish in a big tank, and then even though they're small fish, it's kind of like the school.
Right. Yeah, they go back and forth 2 inches.
Yeah, so if you only have a small school, right, they can go all the way around, and I think 3-dimensionally. So I'll do a talk on the stage revealing some of my best tips. I sat through and sifted through hundreds of my ideas, things I've done over time, and I distilled that down to my 5 best things to help any aquascaper, beginner all the way through what the best in the world do. And a lot of that hinges on the fish and why I think those ideas come to the forefront. Yeah.
Most of the tanks that I've seen you do are in the like 40 to 75 gallon or so range. I saw a video the other day of a tank that Oliver Knott did, and he's brilliant just like you are.
Yeah.
But this tank was like 25 feet wide. Have you ever done giant tanks like that?
No, I would like to be the lead on something like that. But I would need a heck of a lot of help. I'm too old.
I mean, it's so intimidating.
Those stones, you know how heavy a stone is. It's 30 pounds, right? And you need stones or tree trunks. You're using, I don't know, car engine lifts or something.
Must be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was scared. The biggest rock I put in that African cichlid tank was, maybe 12 inches. It was probably 30 pounds. And the tank is 30 inches high, so I'm leaning way over. And of course, with the stone being that big, I wanted to put it all the way on the bottom. It was one slip and it's over. And I was terrified.
And even worse, the lower back starts complaining, and that goes, you're just done for like 2 or 3 weeks.
I was not in a good mood when I was done. I was really happy that it was done, but not in a good mood. Oliver's tank also had like a full-size tree coming out of it.
I've seen it.
I mean,
it's amazing.
The one with the baby Yoda in it,
Yeah.
which I love. I thought that was so bold because you have this absolute masterpiece, and then you have little Grogu in the middle. I was like, that's brilliant. I love it. And yours today is going to have the little hand-painted figures and stuff. So
yeah. You know what? I was asked by somebody early on when Oliver was doing a lot more of that, like dinosaurs and bones and also like a skeleton coming out of. So he's done a lot of this and stuff. And I got asked because people think I'm like this artiste, this elite artiste. I'm just like, are you kidding me? I love this. This dinosaurs. That's so wicked cool.
Yeah.
I don't put limitations on myself. So when we're talking about how do I come up with my ideas, there's just no. That's one of the styles of aquascaping. It's called Dutch style of aquascaping. It's like the first aquascaping, right? It's been around for I don't know how many, like 100 or some years or more.
I assumed it was Amano, but
no.
That shows how little I know.
Yeah, Amano invented the naturescaping, or is credited with doing naturescaping. Kind of the predominance of my work is that, where it's rocks and wood and really big impression and this depth and this real clean look to the the rimless tanks and all that.
Right.
So real clean look and more inspired by nature. The Dutch is very much gardening, and they have these rules. You have to use this many plants. You have to have this many reds and
oh, come on.
And you got to cover the back wall, and they use moss, and it's just really rigid. There's like a gazillion rules and unwritten rules, and it's every year the AGA has a Dutch contest, and so many people get disqualified in that because they didn't follow the rules. So that's the only aquascaping I don't do is Dutch. I don't want rules. I don't want limitations. You can keep your rules, Mr. Dutch people.
I mean, isn't the point of art to be that there are no rules? I mean, that's the way I look at it.
I think so. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's just I don't like following rules anyway. So.
Right? It's fun. What?
I mean, I like to do things that people say you're not supposed to do, mixing fish that you're not supposed to. I'm not going to let fish get killed, but I like to do things that the rule book says I'm not allowed to do.
You don't like doing the circle of life?
No, I mean,
I had one video, it went viral, where I was dumping blue decorative shrimp. So they get stuck in the filter. So I'm using the Waza pre-filter. So the shrimp are all in there grazing away happily. and I'll take the pre-filter, dump it into a container, and then put the shrimp back in the tank. And I thought, oh, this will make a good video. And I had the pearl gouramis and some other fish in there, and pistos. I had a pair of pistos in there.
Oh boy.
And I have like thousands of these shrimp. They're cockroaches in the tank, right? I don't even know what to do with them. I give them away by the 100, and everyone in my area is like, no more shrimp, please. So they're great food.
Sure.
So I dumped them in at the top and let them swim through the gauntlet of fish. So the fish are like, oh, it's feeding time. So they'll gather there, and they ran the gauntlet, and not a single shrimp got eaten.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So I mean, it's not that the pistos, they love those shrimp, but they never made much of a dent in the colony, and they were super colorful. Those were some awesome fish.
I love shrimp. I have a tank in my office bathroom. I know that sounds weird, but it's got so many cherry shrimp in it. It's out of control. I am not a fan at all of feeding live foods, but shrimp, I'm okay with. I mean, as cute as they are and as beautiful as they are, if shrimp get eaten, I don't lose any sleep
pretty
over
much
it.
circle of life.
Yeah, but my wife was feeding the same tank I was talking about earlier, the yellow lab tank with all the rocks. She was so excited because she fed the food, and the food was coming down, and it's like a huge feeding frenzy. And 2 fry came out, little pieces of rice came out, and they were trying to pick up on the crumbs, and then they got swooped in and eaten right there in front of her. She was like, oh no, terrified. But I would love to have my wife speak with you, because she is very passionate about aquascaping. Unfortunately, she's not here yet, but
I'd be happy to.
She in Dallas, she did a beautiful scape, and the other Jeff Sensky came up to her.
Yes. Yep.
He scaped the tank right next to her, and he gave her one little pointer, which was as simple as straighten out your line of gravel in the front, because it was a little wavy. But that meant so much to her, because he was, he's an accomplished aquascaper like you are, and he's like, she was thrilled that he was happy with her scape. And then he did a scape later that weekend that looked very similar to hers. So she was saying, maybe he got some inspiration from me. But so I know, I'm sure you've met her, but she would love to pick your brain, I'm sure.
I am more than happy to answer anyone's questions. I'm actually retired, so those long days paid off. So I got to retire early. So at least there was some benefit there. And I've been doing this for fun. So I do this, I'm a WASA ambassador, so I'm at these conventions, and they sponsor the videos and going to the clubs and fish stores and talking to folks and sharing how to do aquascaping, and just really setting healthy expectations too. A lot of folks, they'll look at my work or others' work, and they see these contest tanks, and they're just like, that's too much.
Yep, can't do that.
So, setting healthy expectations, really.
Well, your first tank didn't look the way your tanks now do.
No.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
No. And the thing is, you have to fit it into your lifestyle, right? What works for you. If you enjoy it, you have fun with it, you're proud of it, you won. You're a great aquascaper.
Well, and just the therapy angle of it, I think, is critical too. This hobby is already a therapy type hobby.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
To be able to spend hours and hours and hours. One of the things that always kind of drove me away from aquascaping, it's one of those things like, I love snakes, but I'll never own one. I like other people's snakes.
Yeah.
I admire others aquascaping, and I love watching the process. But me, I'm the guy that wants to just boom, 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 it's all done. I don't want to take 30, 40 hours, which my wife was working on a tank right now that she's probably got 30 hours into, and it's still empty. But she's putting in her time, and she's enjoying it. It's therapeutic for her. And
yeah, it's just, there's no right or wrong. It's art. It's subjective. You can do whatever you want. Enjoy it however you want. That's it. There's nothing more to it, So it's such a, again, it's easy to start, hard to master. So if you want to just do it, no one's there judging you.
Right.
If you want to go to social media and start sharing it there, then people are going to start giving you comments, and most of them are trying to help you out and improve. And then there's the next level. You can go to competitions and, put yourself in front of judges, so you can pick wherever on the spectrum that you want to be. So that's wonderful. And you don't have to be, you could do contests 1 year and then take 2 years out of that and just do what you want to do. That's kind of what I've been up to. Yeah. So like, there's no way I'd send my my tree house in an aquarium to a contest. What is this?
I mean, it would win in my book. I like things that go against the grain like that. I think that's adorable. But you've answered this question probably 20 times already today, but I'm going to ask you again, because anytime I ever have conversations with non-aquascapers, it always goes to, well, those guys, they're not taking care of those tanks. They're putting them together and then they're tearing them down like you did. Mm-hmm. But then, I have friends that have 15, 20 tanks that they've aquascaped and they didn't take them down.
There's
the
a myth.
Maintenance of it.
There's a myth that they're high maintenance, that they don't last. They're only good for 3 months or 6 months, and then you gotta tear them down because that's all a myth. I'll just set the record straight. 100% myth. Now there are some things that you have to address, like the aqua soils that aquascapers predominantly use to grow optimal plants. You don't even need it, but it's very beneficial to growing plants because the cation exchange and the way it's pelletized, the ease of use, that you can stack it thick and it'll stay, it won't go anaerobic on you. The nutrients will be depleted, in particular nitrogen. The other nutrients actually will increase because of the cation exchange. But nitrogen depletes. So you got to replenish the nitrogen, and there's ways to do this. We have root fertilizers. We can dose the water column. Right. We can choose plants that don't need as much nitrogen in their root system. So that is really the only limiter, is the nitrogen in the system. A lot of aquascapers, when they do this, will actually purposely limit nitrogen because it changes the form of the plant. So a lot of the plants, especially like rotalas, will go from green to kind of pale green to orangey to bright red. Right. With nitrogen starvation. So, but it's not long term. Those plants will collapse because they're starving. One of my absolute favorite plants. Yeah. So nitrogen is something that has to be replenished in the system. Everything else in the system is completely sustainable for any length of time. Yeah, there's plenty of aquascapes that have been up for years, decades even, so that's a myth. So do we crush that? That's a myth.
Well, that's good.
Stop saying that, people.
It's just another excuse, but...
An excuse, yep.
Do you, when you're... I would have a feeling if you're putting something together for display purposes for one weekend like this weekend, or for a contest, your process would probably be different. But is maintenance something that's in your mind when you're coming up with your concepts?
Very much so. Very much so. One of my pro tips as an aquascaper, put your equipment on the tank before you start aquascaping. Leave the equipment in. And do not scape around that equipment. So if you don't have all the pretty glassware like the lily pipes and all that, you have these big, green or blue or black tubes and stuff, heaters, whatever, do not change your concept because of that equipment. Don't try to hide the equipment specifically because it's ugly to you with your hardscape. Because what happens is you have this tube coming down and you'll take that rock and you'll put it in front of that tube, and now you've just got a rock in front of a tube. It's not an aquascape, right? Right. Whereas if you just aquascape the tank out and put your flowing lines in, your plants and all that, and you got the tube there, the aquascape is going to be beautiful. And what is going to draw your eye? The pipe or the beautiful aquascape?
That's very true.
Your mind is going to erase the pipe.
Yep.
because it's just life support. It just has to be there. It's just like the aquarium itself has to be there. So don't hide your equipment, but scape around it. Make sure you have good flow. One of the things with aquascapes, if and this maybe goes back to the myth of the aquascapes aren't long term, is as the plants grow in and in and in, they block the flow. And there will be a lot of stagnant, dead spots, and you'll start running into algae issues and all sorts of stuff. So you really have to have a plan to keep those plants in check. Don't be afraid to use scissors. Most aquascapers are afraid to use their scissors. I just posted a video showing me with an overgrown tank, and I took it down to the aqua soil. And then I grew it back in over 70 days. So I had this, it just posted, today's Friday, it just posted yesterday.
Wow.
So I show this. Don't be afraid. Just get in there, rip them down, and get them under control. So if they get out of control, get them back under control, because otherwise you run into problems. But if you keep them under control, it's going to be running forever.
Do you have a particular favorite fish for aquascapes? Like,
no, I try not doing favorites. It's a limitation. It's a crutch, right? I have fish I really enjoy. I have a short list of fish like for conventions that I'll use because I know they're not shy and they can take the constant change and it's less stressful on them. So I do tend to those. So I have a list that I go off of for sure. A lot of fish are just off the list because of their size or their behavior. So I can't get fish that are going to rip up all the plants like your ambunas, right? So there's a list, and it's a finite list, maybe 100 species. And then they have to be available, and you have to be able to get a school of them. Yeah, so there's all sorts of limitations there. Fish can be a challenge.
I always just assume when you're going to have a super high-level aquascape like you do, it's always little nano fish, which is great. I mean, I'm wondering when we're going to see the big fish. I'm a monster fish guy. I appreciate aquascaping and I love it.
If someone gives me a big enough tank, I'd be happy to do something like that, because what you're getting into there is basically your public aquariums and that kind of thing. So there's some overseas that have done this, and they could put bigger fish in there because the scale works, right? So the aquascaping, a big component of like a beginner aquascaper and a master aquascaper is this sense of scale and perspective. So why we want scale and perspective? Because it creates impression. Hopefully that won't get picked up in the mic. That is the most annoying jackhammer sound I've ever heard. So we got that jackhammer behind us. But yeah, so scale and I'll repeat this as soon as this clears. So scale and perspective are so important to a master aquascaper because they create an impression. They create a very strong impression. So when you look at it, it's not like, it's just a pile of rocks, like you said, right? It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy. And you see all the fish swimming through it, and it's
I've always just assumed the small fish are used because you don't want the fish to be overpowering the aquascape. Like I'm one of those people. What I teach people is the basics, the beginner type stuff. And I tell people in the beginning, let the fish be the decorations. You don't have to mess around with all of this stuff. You need to figure out how all this works.
Yeah.
And then
They go hand in hand, right? It's all tied together because we're taking these fish out of their homes. We should really be trying to give them a home back. I understand that if you're a fish breeder, you're going to have a bear tank and all this and stuff, and there's some utilitarian pieces. But if you were a hobbyist and this is in your home, give the fish a nice home. They'll reward you. They will color up. They will breed. They will greet you. They will swim naturally and interact with each other. So they will reward you. So the fish are the judges.
I love it. Is there, I really hope you answer this the way I want you to. We have not talked about this before doing this interview. Do you have a favorite plant farm distributor that you know? I sell plants, so I'm hoping you give me the right answer. One of those, when you see this particular brand of plants, you're like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, so I am, to be clear, I do have product sponsorship with Tropica.
Okay.
So that was
I sell tropical plants.
Awesome.
That's all I sell.
So I answered it correctly.
You answered it
Okay.
beautifully. I love that
Wonderful.
answer so much.
Serendipity. So I the tropical plants have been wonderful, and I tend towards the tissue culture because they're much easier for me to get a tissue culture cup in. I know how many plants are going to be in there, and they're easy to plant, and you get a huge bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Because there's so many plants in that cup, even though the cup is, what is it?
Yeah, it's a little
3 inches
thing.
in diameter, 2 inches tall. And when they switch from that the gelatin media to the liquid media, I can just rinse that off, pull those plants apart. I'll set them all on my tray, all individually, and I just go at them with my pin sets and just like a sewing machine. And I can plant 100, 200 of these in an hour or two. So when I
Nice.
come to these the conventions or do my demos and that, it's a godsend because I can demonstrate how this is done. It's clean, and it just works. And they're pest free. So
Yep.
getting a aquascape started is usually a challenge, especially if it's hardscape dominant. So the more plants you put in, the better. So plant it heavy. And the thing is with plants, if you're getting them already grown, they're going to transition. So a lot of plant matter is going to decay, and it's going to create algae fuel. Tissue culture plants aren't going to do that. So it gives you a leg up on the start. So I'm really happy with the tissue culture stuff. Not all plants are available tissue culture, so
Right.
you still have to go out and get, like Java ferns or whatever, but stem plants and the carpeting plants and just about everything
Right.
is available. I'd say 90%.
Sometimes it's a hard sell for me because I love crypts. I could just
Oh yeah.
eat up crypts all day long. I sell a ton of them in pots.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of these crypts in the tissue culture form too, and they're like, I don't know. It's kind of a hard sell because they are so small, but people don't realize you're getting so many more. I mean, there's so much in that one little cup.
And
They're small, but they won't be small long.
They're so easy to plant too.
Yeah.
It's not intuitive. It's just not intuitive. Even if after you tell people over and over, they still will tend towards the grown out pot. And then they run into problems.
Right.
And then I'm getting, giving advice on how to fight algae.
Yep.
I would rather have, give advice on, like what plant to add or, something with, change your hardscape a little bit here. It would be really cool if you added, some piece. So stuff like that, and I'd rather do that than fight pests. Pests are one of those things that people exit the hobby about. So the less pests that we have, the better, right? So
we have a whole room that's full of plant tanks that are full of tropical plants, pots, and sometimes we'll get some snails in there, and then all of a sudden, when you have one, you've got 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
We collect them up, and believe it or not, we sell bladder snails.
food.
And a ton. We sell a ton of them.
Yeah.
And some of it's people buying them for puffer fish and stuff like that, but I don't care what they do with them when they buy them from us, but it's surprising how many people will buy bladder snails.
Yeah, it's great food.
Sure.
That's what they eat. So
Now, I'm going to give you one more question here because I know you got a whole big day ahead of you. When people come to me, and again, I like to go beginner basic stuff, and they say, what's some great plants to start with? I'm always going Crypts, Rotala, Bacopa, easy, Anubias, obviously. But from an aquascaping standpoint, not the little plants, the mosses and the ground covers and stuff, but the bigger plants. What are your favorites for?
My go-to is Rotala. There's so many forms of it, and you can manipulate the plant based on your husbandry. So you can get different forms, different growth forms, different colorations out of it, and it's so easy to grow. You can have it short, you can have it long and draped over. It's so versatile. It's the most versatile plant I think we have in our arsenal. So that is my go-to, and it also is really resistant to algae because it grows very quick. So in my tanks, I fertilize heavily, I have high light, and I'm running CO2 enrichment, right?
Oh, and that makes Rotala go absolutely bananas.
I get 6 inches a week.
Oh, wow.
So it allows me to pick different trim lines. And then once I have it dialed in, I will dial back the light. So that's the gas pedal.
Right.
So once I've got this grown in and it looks good, I'll reduce the light substantially so that I don't get 6 inches, because that's no fun. But it's really great if you're impatient and want to just get it grown in. You can
It'll make you feel like a pro real fast.
Yeah, it's an amazing plant.
The biggest problem I have with Rotala from a retailer standpoint, we have these little trays that we got from Tropica that hold 21 pots. And the Rotala grows so fast and so burly that they'll grow like into each other.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if I should start separating them, just one per.
It's
because they all get mixed up. You pull one out and they all come out.
This is what you need to do. You need to just have a tank dedicated to it and just plant a big mass of Rotala. And then what you do is you just trim it and do 6 inches. Yeah, because the tops are what everyone's excited about. So you'll sell 6 to 8 inch trimmings, 10 to a bunch or whatever you want to do. And then your supply never runs out because you don't care about the bottoms. The bottoms will just become this big, thick root mass, barely any leaves. And it'll just, every time you cut, you'll get two shoots. So it's just, I throw out Rotala like crazy because the hobbyists around me no longer want, it's like the shrimp thing.
Right.
No more Rotala.
Here comes Jeff with his Rotala. So, like I said, you have, we've been going 41 minutes already. And you have a lot of weekend ahead of you. Why don't you talk about what you have going on this weekend? Are you doing a talk?
I'm doing, so let me just think for a second. So I've set up the booth at Owasso with my treehouse, so come by see that. It's spectacular.
I will put photos of that over us while we're talking here. Or video of it.
After this, I'm headed to the Fluval Aquascaping Contest. So I will be doing that today. So however long my back holds out, I'll escape today. That's there's a big prize on the line, but
what is the prize?
$5,000.
Oh, hello!
I know,
yes,
right?
Yes, please.
So yeah, I'll join, but I don't. So they get 2 days to do it, or I get 2 days, but I only have one to spend because then tomorrow I'll be in the Owasso booth as the ambassador, and then I'll be on the feature stage competing against Austin from ADG. So we'll be going head to head, the young gun against the old man.
Oh boy.
So we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
I think I should get a head start or a helper to carry the rocks or something. So I'll be on the feature stage, and then on Sunday again in the booth, and then at noon on Sunday I'll be speaking on the main stage and sharing my 5 tips, including the one that all the best aquascapers in the world do and you don't.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's perfect. And that talk will be available on Fishroom app. If you haven't downloaded the Fishroom app, this is going to go up obviously after the show. So that's all of this that Jeff's saying right now has already happened.
Oh.
But you can view all of that on the Fishroom app. And you know what? I'll be at the results for the aquascaping contest, and we'll see what happens there when Jeff claims his first place prize.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. But with a jam-packed weekend like that, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to sit down here with me, have a nice, relaxing, jackhammered
Yeah, that was
crazy
fun.
sound here. This is a live show. It's happening. But I really do appreciate it.
Well,
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate just being able to get the message out. And so less talking, more escaping. That's what I always say.
There you go. All right. There we are.
That was fun.
Yeah, still got the microphones on. Yeah, we muted the mics because, we were cursing and saying all kinds of things, and we wanted to make sure nobody could hear us. And
No, we weren't.
I'm always guilty of forgetting to turn it back on. So what a blast that was talking to Jeff. I had, I can remember vividly observing him working at Aquashellas in the past. And I don't want this to sound bad, but I was kind of like intimidated to go and talk to him.
Oh.
It's not because he's a mean person or anything like that. I don't know why. It was just one of those things, like, he just seemed like he's like a godlike figure. And I was like, I can't go talk to him. I'm just a nobody weirdo. But when I did,
You are weird.
well, yeah, there's definitely truth there. But when I did end up going up and introducing myself to him, what an amazing human being he is. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I've, we've talked a lot since then. He's not calling me every week. It's not that kind of a thing, but it's, we talk a lot when we're at these shows and stuff like that. And his work is just, it can't be matched. And I got to talk about the tank that he was just talking about, that he had to do for the fluval aquascaping competition. I'm not saying this because I consider Jeff to be a friend. It blew my mind. And the thing is, when you look at this tank, and I wish I had a picture of it.
It's in the video on
Sunday.
Sunday.
It will be in the video on Sunday. Yes, it will. I wish I could pull it up now, but it's superb. And he did it in half the time that everybody else had to do theirs. The other ones are amazing. Don't get me wrong. But his was just, I was absolutely blown away, and I couldn't believe that he put it together as fast as he did. I went over there when he was just starting. He had just put the substrate down, and he was starting to set a couple of stones. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm only really going to have time to do the hardscape. And I'm like, oh, well, it'll be a beautiful hardscape. I come back like 3 hours later, it's done, and it's full of plants. I was like, what? And it doesn't look like a rush job like I would have done. It looked perfect. And I'm so impressed by his work. It's just, I could dote on him all day long. What an incredible man. What an incredible talent. And I'm so grateful that he was willing to, you heard it. His schedule for that weekend was out of control. And for him to sit down with me for an hour was a really, really big deal for me. So thank you so much, Jeff. And I hope you all enjoyed that.
This was a kind of funny comment. Jeff kind of looks like Zac Efron. He does. He looks like an older version of Zac Efron. Like, yeah.
I can think of a lot of worse people to be compared to.
I think that's funny because it's true.
It is very true. Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? Jeff's a good looking man. I don't know. It's true. It's definitely true. That is, Zac Efron's like 28. When Zac Efron is older than that, when he's my age, he'll be lucky to still look that good.
Yeah.
So I brought this up to show you when you go to the Fishroom app. Let me get it to focus on it, for crying out loud. That's the logo that you're going to be looking for when you want to download the Fishroom app. That I had the hat sitting back there.
And I got it.
And she got it for me.
Yeah, he didn't go get it. I did.
I didn't even stand up when I just sat here the whole time and watched the show. It was fun. So you got some cool things to talk about?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wanted to show what Jennifer Anderson brought. I always want to say Aniston because of you. But anyways, what Jennifer Anderson brought me to Aquashella. It's so cute. Look, it's a bee. Somebody handmade this, and she brought it to me at Aquashella. And I named it JoJo after Joanna Adams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, JoJo.
There
Cute.
you go. That
So
works.
sweet. I love it. I love it. It's so adorable. Thank you, Jen.
I did have one more thing I wanted to talk about here that doesn't
Oh,
have
I
to
have
do.
something else to talk about too.
Okay,
but-
well, you do it.
No, you can't.
You
Oh.
might be wanting to talk about the same thing I was going to talk about.
No. I wanted to talk about, I got an email from Diana Walstead, and she was saying that November, I'm just going to go ahead and read this off. That way you guys know, and I'm not just like making anything up. She's going to be at, let's see, at the Charlotte Aquarium Club at Innovation Barn, 932 Siegel Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina, on November 18th. It's a Saturday. She's doing a book signing, and she will be talking. She'll be talking about the 1 gallon shrimp bowls, like the ones we did in a video a few months ago on our channel, and also rainbow fish tanks, because she used to keep rainbow fish too. So, but anyways, now she's keeping mostly like guppies and her smaller bowls. So anyways, I just want to share that with you. November 18th, if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, you should definitely go check out that talk, because Diana is a very sweet, knowledgeable person. She knows how to do these bowls and stuff the Walstead way. I guess that's the only way I can put it. The Walstead way.
Makes sense. It is her name.
Exactly. But yeah, she's doing good, and it was nice to hear from her.
Yes, indeed. Leo209 Aquatics came in very early and said, "Woohoo, you two are awesome." No, we're not. Come on, stop that. She is, but...
Theo.
And I got a baby. I don't even know how to say that. Tiglusai? Why didn't you say biker? And then I would have known what you were talking about. Thanks, John.
Tugelsi?
Now I like bikers. I blame you for my spending. Hey, listen, bikers, Bashirs, whatever you want to call them, they're addicting. You get those fish and you fall in love with them. They have the personalities. They look like dinosaurs, alligators. They look like something out of a Harry Potter film. They're just amazing. And anybody that keeps them knows. And if you don't keep them and then you see them, you say, "Oh, I want them," because they're adorable.
They're
and
awesome.
I love them. I love them so much.
Yeah.
And my Ornate, when Whip's World was here 2 weeks ago, we went into the fish room, of course, and he saw the Ornate and lost his mind, because he was here when we put him in the tank, and he was half the size of the other two. He even admitted that he was worried, like, this might not be a good idea. But now he is way bigger than the other two, which is wild. So yeah, that's cool too. Draco, crab, and Goyle. So cool names. Of course they're cool names. Cool fish. Thank you, Leo.
Yes.
And I'll be packing up that you didn't order it yet, but the old Northfin Carnivore. They love it. It falls down to the bottom and it's like Cookie Crisp. It's beautiful.
They do love it.
Melissa Jeswald said, "I missed the chats so much."
Me too.
Yeah. It's
Definitely.
It's frustrating when I watch the thing and the yellow bar comes up that says the signal's not great. I remember those days.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing is when we stopped live streaming, 1 week later, I got the email from Elon Musk that said, "Hey, we're ready to send you your second Starlink system," which was going to be exclusively for the fish house. And I was like, we're not going to be streaming anymore, so I'm not going to go the extra expense. It's a great service, but
Yeah.
we're not going to spend the extra money on that. So I canceled it.
It only took a year for you to get it, and then you canceled it.
Boy, am I regretting that now. But we can stream from here. Hey, there's a lot of streamers that don't have aquariums behind them.
We have that one.
That's true, but my head's covering it up. That's the best aquarium we have.
Wait, how do I? It's
Yeah.
right. Can you point me? Yeah, right there.
Takes two people.
See, right there.
Let me tell you something. That is the most low maintenance aquarium I've ever had, and I have not lost one fish. And here's the amazing thing. I haven't even fed them.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've never put one drop of fish food in that tank. Look how good it looks. It's amazing.
It's kind of hard to see.
It's a 55 gallon right there. It's a Lego tank, so don't freak out. My daughter bought me that for my birthday, and it was so much fun putting it together.
I love it. We've already gone through so many batteries because I keep saying I'll come in and just turn it on and leave it on and walk away because it's so cute.
It has little LED lights in it that are absolutely adorable. Those were extra. That was an extra feature that she bought for the kit, which is just adorable. YFI became a member. Welcome to the team, my friend.
Welcome.
Jeff H. Howdy, fish people. It's been a while. Hope everyone's good. We've missed the live streams. Well, you're not going to be missing them much longer because here we are. Even though, one of the things that broke my heart about live streaming was, and I'm going to sound really, I don't know. You might consider this a bad thing for me to say, but one of the things that broke my heart was that we hardly anybody was watching them anymore. We used to get a lot of people watching, and then they all went away, and it made me sad. And so it's not a money thing. It's more of a pride thing. And judging by today's numbers, it's not helping that, but we're not going anywhere. I enjoy this, especially if we're going to do it here. I don't have to set everything up. And it's a lot of fun. So Mattman B said, first time back in a long time. Unfortunately, all my cichlids pretty much stressed each other out from aggression. All died over time, and now I have peaceful goldfish that I won at a fair, and they are thriving in a 75 gallon.
Well, that's a sad story that turned happy. So goldfish are great. I love goldfish.
I love them too. The pond fish are doing amazing. They're growing, I guess. It's hard to know.
They're growing.
I mean, the koi are already really big. We got 4 koi.
Oh.
If you haven't been following along, we got a pond put in. What was it? A month and a half ago?
Yeah.
I don't even know when it was. And the fish are doing amazing. They are thrilled. They're still, even after a month and a half, still a little bit skittish, which doesn't make sense because we walk by it 50 times a day, and I stand on that one stone, and I try to spend time with them, and they just like to hide. And
I've got to tell this story.
About me overflowing it the
it's
first
gonna
or second or third time?
embarrass you a little bit. But
I don't mind that.
Okay, I have to tell the story because this man embarrassed me in front of people. We had company. It was Whip's World and Kevin Ellery. They came to get Superman, and that's the cat, one of my cats that was up for adoption.
And that video is coming up very soon on her channel.
What? It came up this morning.
That video uploaded this morning, and it's amazing, and you should watch it. I'm an idiot. I forgot. I even liked it.
Anyway, so they're here. I have witnesses. It's a fact about what he did, and he embarrassed me. All right. Sometimes we got to add water to the pond.
And this was not the first time. Just saying.
Oh, that's even more embarrassing. It's the only one I know about. So sometimes we have to add water to the pond because, evaporation and all that. So he adds water. He puts those in there and walks away and overflows the pond. So
Twice.
So what does he do? He gets the Seche pump out and he takes water out of the pond so it's not overflowing. Well, he takes the pump out but leaves the tube in. So what's it do? I mean, naturally what happens if you stick like a python in a tank, even though you don't have the water for, the suction for it to come out, it's still going to drain.
Siphon. So
the pond drained. So
not very far. I figured it out before. It didn't go very far.
You figured it out, but not soon enough, because then he had to fill the pond back up again. And then he had to have Siri tell him when to turn the water off. So I'm just saying, nobody's perfect, and he's an educator. So
maybe not anymore. Yeah, you know what? It's
I'm
one
just
of those
glad
things.
it wasn't the fish house.
If you're filling up an aquarium, you sit in front of the aquarium, because if you overflow it, that's going to be a huge trouble. This is outside, so it's like, you know, the water's low. I'm going to turn the water on, fill it up,
Walk away.
go back in the house, and and then just forget about it. That water was filling up the pond for probably 2 hours, because I put it on, walked away, completely forgot. Kevin and Whip, I almost said his real name, got here. We, say our hellos. We go immediately into the fish house, which is 100 yards away from the house. And we're out there visiting, and we spent quite a bit of time out there, which surprised me, because I figured Kevin was going to want to anxiously run in here and see Superman. But he did eventually see him. And it was a beautiful, beautiful day. But we were out there for a while. And yeah, one of them was like, let's go see the pond. And as we're walking up to it, I was like, oh, I did that again. The water is like all the way up to the ground level. And it was so embarrassing.
So as he's driving to Aquashella on Thursday, I said, yeah, maybe you should start collecting rainwater. I got the utility bill. And this was before that would have been on it. And it was still $800. And I was like, that's insane.
Yeah. When things like that happen, I always take joy in being able to say, well, you shouldn't have done this or that. But no, it's all me this time.
Yes,
I'm
it's
sad to admit
definitely
that.
all you.
But Matt Man B, if you're still here, hey, listen, dude, welcome to the world of cichlids. That's the downside to them for sure. The going back to what we talked about with Jeff in the aquascaping contest, unfortunately, he did not win. I am biased. I loved his tank. And I'm going to be honest, I only looked at like 2 of the others because it's hectic. It's a crazy weekend.
I saw them all.
One of the ones I did look at and spent quite a bit of time looking at was one that I was impressed with the balls on these people. And I know that sounds weird, but work with me here. They did something completely outside the box. I have not seen anybody in an aquascaping contest do this. 0 plants in their tank. Mm-hmm. It was 100% hardscape, and it was stunning. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous.
And they won.
Well, thanks for spoiling it. And then they filled it with peacocks, which that's my jam. It was dragonstone and is it elephant stone or elephant skin stone or whatever it is? It looks like elephant skin. It was the combination of those two, and then they put a bunch of gorgeous, like 4-inch colored up males in there. And so when I found out Jeff did not win and found out that tank did win, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not as brokenhearted, because I love when people think outside the box and they do something that,
but the
judges could have gone, what?
But if the fish hadn't been at it, it would have
looked half done.
I don't think that they would have won. I honestly don't think they would have won.
You're right.
They won because the fish told the story. It kind of made it, it just did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't plant that tank because it's full of peacocks.
Exactly.
It makes total sense. I completely agree. Or if that tank was full of neon tetras, it probably still wouldn't have won. I mean, the hardscape was tremendous. It was masterclass. But it was the fish that made it like all come together, and it was absolutely stunning. Mm-hmm. Kelly Berry became a member. Welcome to the team. Odin Aquatics said, loving your TikTok review series. Glad I didn't end up on it. You know what's funny? I don't know hardly any of the names of people on there. If you've done something naughty, you may end up doing it. Oh my God, I love making those videos. They're so much fun. I have a few more of those planned. I'm not going to do them every single week, because there are people that insult me and say this is below you and all of this stuff.
Even other YouTubers who think it's a great thing to stream about or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of silly, but I love doing it. I think that I add a layer to it of, hey, this is what you've done wrong here. Here's perhaps what you should be doing. I said the word broad a couple of times, and somebody got real mad at me for that. Like, what? Of all the names I could call people, that's the one that makes you mad? But anyway, I do have a couple. Well, I have 3 more of those in the works that that are positive. They're not all negative stuff, and I'm excited about doing those. But I'm not going to become a react channel. But there's going to be more of that. So thank you for your comment on that. I appreciate it. Wizworld, I missed the first 17 minutes. Why are we in the house? Because I overflowed the pond again. And no, for no reason other than it's just easier. And we were going to be off camera for the majority of this live stream anyway. So it's like, why do we even need to take everything out there? Plus, I had all of my stuff packed up, and it was in this room. So it's like, let me just set it up real quick right here. And so that's why we're in here right now. And we're probably going to be in here. I don't know if we're going to be in here forever doing the live stream, but at least the next 3 weeks while we're doing these interview shows. Whips World again, 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. Oh, here, this is a...
Oh.
I don't even know what it is either, because
he's on vacation doing this to you. You know that, right?
That doesn't surprise me. 13-month-old baby. This is a song lyric, folks. And 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. That sounds so familiar. I'm going to have to Google it when this is done. He's on vacation. He ain't watching this anymore. But you got me again, Whip. Thought you were going to be throwing me softballs, and you didn't. Victor Claudio, missed seeing y'all's goofiness. Sorry, this was covered up. Can't believe it's been a year already. I waited for y'all to come back from Aquashella to put in an order. Awesome.
Yeah.
We did not have a delay, not even 1 hour for shipping. And that's because of this beautiful woman sitting next to me.
Oh.
That's why she stayed. I drove down to Aquashella Thursday, and I left first thing in the morning. I was gone. So she packed the orders on Thursday, got them shipped out, and packed the orders on Friday, which she always packs orders on Friday, except for tomorrow, because post office is closed tomorrow.
It's Veterans Day.
Yes. Well, Veterans Day is Saturday, but we're celebrating it tomorrow. So, yeah, you get a day off. Good. But she packed orders today for me. So, yeah, I didn't forget. But, yeah, because of that, she packed orders on Friday and then went and got on the plane and came down. So, and took care of all of the animals and all of that. So, worked out good.
Yeah,
And,
I only sat at the airport for 40 minutes till he picked me up.
all right, so here's the story.
At 11 o'clock at night.
At Aquashella's, it's my thing. She never participates, always invited, but never participates. Jason and I, Jason Adams, Primetime Aquatics, the 2 bald white guys with beards, we meet at these shows, and everybody's going woo at the bar, and they're all going crazy and drinking and hooting and hollering, and we're the old timers. We go and we sit somewhere quiet, and usually people will join us. Ed and James usually do, but they weren't at this show, which I was very sad not to see them. But we were joined by Science Gal and Mark from Aquariums Unlimited. He came down, and he was like, I don't feel like partying.
Oh, I gotta say something about that.
So he was in the room with us too, and it was like 10:15, and he holds up his phone to where I can see the clock, and he's like, aren't you supposed to leave to go pick her up at the airport?
Because Mark looks out for me.
And I was like, but I'm, she's going to text me when she lands, and then I'm going to go get her. And I don't know how it happened, but she texted me. We were 10 minutes from the airport. I had my keys. I mean, as soon as she texted me, I left, and Jason came with me. Mark went to bed, and we went to get her. She was at the airport next door to Daytona International Speedway. First time in my life I got to see that racetrack. Well, the gate going around it, and yeah, she still sat there 40 minutes waiting for me, and there was a pretty shady looking guy standing next to you out in that.
The interesting thing, if I can get it out, I was so tired and frustrated that I was sitting there, and probably 5 minutes before he got there, I just said, screw it. I don't even care. You know what? If I get mugged, it serves him right.
That's horrible. I have to say this though, and this is me being 100% truthful with y'all. I want to publicly thank Jason Adams because he was with me, and had he not been with me, I'd have probably got a licking. She'd have probably
oh, you want to know
told me
what's
a thing or
funny
two.
is when you picked me up, I wasn't very cheery.
No,
And-
she wasn't.
But I wasn't rude. But the next day, I still felt like I had to go tell Jason, sorry for not being like, hey, how you doing? But he told me I wasn't rude. But I knew it deep down inside, my feelings at the moment weren't very nice. So I still felt like I needed to apologize for not being overly happy at that moment.
She never apologized to me, but she was.
No.
You snapped out of it as soon as we got to the hotel. You were
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, yeah,
But
definitely.
it
Oh,
was-
but something that I just remembered when you said that you were hanging out with Carrie and Mark. Tomorrow is Carrie, Science Gal Aquatic, and Mark from Aquariums Unlimited. It's both of their birthdays. Both of them. And I don't
they
know.
both turned 30.
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea how old they're going to turn. But
I
they
know
have
how
the
old
same
both of them are,
birthday.
but I'm
That's
not
so
gonna say.
awesome.
Yeah, Evie, it's a good time. And the funny thing is, and listen, folks, the hotel that we were at was an amazing hotel. It was very, very nice. And we got a beachfront room, which was awesome. There was a lot of noise Friday night. There was a lot of stuff happening, and there's a bar there and stuff like that. It's loud. We're old. We're like, so I went to the front desk and I said, is there somewhere where me and my friends could go that's quiet? Anything. It could be like a hallway somewhere. It doesn't really matter. We're not picky. It's just quiet without going up to our room where our wives are. Like, is there somewhere we can go and hang out? And the guy was like, you know what? Wait a minute. I'm going to fix you up.
Right.
And they let us into a conference room with this huge round table and super nice fluffy chairs. It was really, really nice. And we were like, and he says, don't mess anything up because I'm supposed to charge you for putting you in here. And I'm like, we won't mess it up. I promise. And it was wonderful. It was secluded. It was quiet. So Saturday night, what did we do? Same guy was there, and I was like, I'm not asking him again. So was it Mark or Jason? It was one of those two. Went up and asked him. Sure enough, they let us right back in that room again. And there was room. It was a round conference table, probably sat 12. So we had room for others. But yeah, it was a wonderful time because it was quiet. And even though it's behind its own secluded room, we could still hear the chaos that was the vendor party. And we were like, I'm glad I didn't get a ticket to that.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
those people, I'm sure, are having fun, but I would not be if I was down there.
Evie made a good point. The hotel was so cool. The decor looked like it was planned around Aquashella. And it's true because
100%.
even in the rooms, the artwork in the rooms, I was like, how did they know? And then I was like, oh, duh, it's a beach.
Yeah, let me tell you, those people in Florida are crazy, all of them, because two things. One, I'm not going to say the second one. First thing, Friday morning, I get up. I got up pretty early because, whatever. And I go out onto the balcony, and it's like 68 degrees. And there were people swimming. Nobody was swimming at the beach, but they were swimming in the hotel pool. I wanted to yell down, are y'all nuts? But I was 17 floors up, and I didn't want to get kicked out. But Thank you, Sean Hale and Evie. I think Evie was the one that was handling the hotel rooms. Thank you for giving us a very nice room. It was wonderful.
It was very nice.
So,
except they didn't have doors on the shower. That kind of freaked me out a little bit.
It made it a little
because I was like,
cold.
I'm messy. I'm gonna get water on the floor.
You get water on the floor even when there is a door.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if.
Shut up.
So, I believe that is all we've got. But I do want to mention again, and I feel like an idiot. If you all are, if you love animals, I'm going to highly recommend, and hopefully Zen Ginger, being the wonderful person that she is, will share this link. I'm going to highly recommend Lisa's video that she uploaded today. I'm not saying this because she is my wife.
Oh.
I'm saying it because it is a special story. It's a beautiful video. I had nothing to do with it. The only thing I had to do with that video was filming you saying goodbye to Carla and you basically handing Cal to Kevin. I filmed that because...
with my phone.
With her phone. She did all of the editing herself. She did everything. I didn't have anything to do with that. And it's a masterpiece. It's a beautiful video.
Aww,
and it might make you go, ooh. It might make you tear up a little bit. It's not a sad video.
No, it's a happy video, but
the happiness might make you
yeah,
might make you tear up a little bit. At least it did me. I didn't tear up, but I could have. I just didn't let it happen because I got a reputation to uphold here.
right.
But anyway, I'm not talking anymore because we'll be here all night. We're already 18 minutes over. I'm going to pass it off to you, young lady.
Oh, okay. Well, gosh, I haven't done this in a while. It's so weird, but
rusty.
yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And, the next few weeks are going to be a little different until we get into the, the hang of it again, where it's just 100% live stream. It'll be the podcast with a few different people over the next few weeks, and we're going to do it just like we did tonight. But after that, we're going to get back into the swing of things again as far as live streaming, and it's been a lot of fun. We've missed you guys. We've missed doing it this way, and I'm super excited to be back and doing it again. Like I said, I've really missed these live streams just as much as him. So
More than me.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the one who keeps telling him we need to go back to live streaming. But yeah, it was fun. Thanks for watching and being here with us, and have a wonderful weekend, and thank a veteran this weekend as well. Have a great Thursday night, and we'll see you next Thursday.